Remember, we were the sugya of shlichus, and we came out that ain't shlich l'dvar ve'era. That if ain't shlich l'dvar, that's the sugya now. That's going to be the sugya now. Let's start again. But we did this till the bottom of the page almost, but we'll do it again to get back into the sugya. But it's not the shlich hasaber b'afcheshet v'katan. That's not our subject. If somebody sent a fire with somebody irresponsible, so he's called a groma, that he indirectly caused the damage. So he's not liable in Bezdin, but in heaven they're going to hold him responsible. That's not our subject. We put that in parentheses, like we did yesterday. It says that if somebody, Reuben sent Shimon to make a fire, so Shimon is chayiv, and he can't say Reuben sent me. My name is Shliach Shalom also. How come if once we establish that such thing as a shliach, so how come the sender is not chayiv? I'm only following orders, and the sender should be chayiv. The answer is Shani Yosam, the ain't shliach l'dvar ve'era. The ain't shliach l'dvar ve'era.
The Tanan ended, right?
Right. You can't find it.
There's going to be two exceptions. We're going to find them today.
Yes. So here we'll say, yeah, this is halacha. First, the Gemara says it's forward, then we'll see that it might be more than just as far. Here, the Gemara says, the Rebbe tells you to do something, and the Talmud says something, who you listen to? So it's Pasha have to listen to the Rebbe. So he told us not to do Ravera, and then this person sent you, so you don't listen to him. So far we established ain't shliach l'dvar ve'era. Now the Gemara Kasha, sometimes you do see shliach l'dvar ve'era. But the Tanya, but it's not, some say, shliach shelo asa shlichus or shliach mo. Against this is not going to be relevant to us. This is a side point. That if the shliach does not listen to his instructions, somebody. Is that good? So if somebody sent the shliach, if he didn't do what he was told to do, then somebody had money of hektish and he gave it to shliach and said, "Buy me apples," and he bought oranges. So then he wasn't a shliach. He didn't do what he was told to do. So the shliach is high for spending the money of hektish. But also shlichus. So if the shliach did do what he was told, while buy small, that's a mishnah. That if someone sent a shliach to spend the hektish money, so he is chayiv mila. So that's Adkan is the mishnah. So the kash is, why should that be? He also shlichus. So the balabais miyamal. If he did what the balabais told him to do, he's saying the halach is that the balabais is the one who's responsible. How come you don't say ein shliach l'dvar ve'era? My name is ein shliach l'dvar ve'era. So we established ein shliach l'dvar ve'era. Now we have a kasha from Meila by Meili to say the ein shliach l'dvar ve'era, that the sender is considered the doer. The doer is not responsible. The sender is responsible, which is saying ein shliach l'dvar ve'era. That's the most kasha. And the Gemara say, you're right, there's an exception over here. And this is exception number one. Shani Meila, the alpha chet mitruma. That Meila is an exception. So maybe to make some kind of thing over here, that Meila is different. Meila, the alpha chet mitruma, there's a drasha to learn out Gzera Shava from Truma. Here it says chet, and there it says chet. Both places it says the word chet, learn out Gzera Shava, and Truma, there is such a thing as a shliach. Truma is not an avera. Ma Truma masfi shliach. We had before atem gamatem, but then we didn't even need a pasuk for that because it's no reason that it shouldn't be. So once we know by Truma is a shlichus, afmila masfi shliach. So that's an exception. What have we learned so far today? Ein shliach l'dvar ve'era, but there's an exception. And the reason is because it's for svara l'chora. Divya Talmud, Divya Rav, Divya Talmud, Divya Mishomen. And then there's an exception. Mila is an exception because the pasuk has Gzera Shava chet mitruma. The kasha is yes.
Just a question on that. He shouldn't be listening to the wrong person. This guy sent it.
So he shouldn't have. He has no right to do it. And the Torah didn't make such things for listening to the Talmud and name and place it around. Mm-hmm. It could be that's as far why it can't be that the Torah meant it over there. But here the Torah did show it. Here the Torah says, the kasha is v'nei. Why not learn out from there? If you find one place where the Torah says you have a nice farah, Divya Talmud, Divya Rav. But if the pasuk says one place, Yesh Liach L'Dvar Aveira, you shall learn from there to other places. The answer is
The sword is applied to the Me'ila, though.
I'm
Because
sorry.
he doesn't. The sword is applied to the Me'ila because he doesn't know he's doing anything wrong.
So Tosh that's the kasha. Dr. Fine's asking that Milo is always b'shogeg, so he doesn't know that he's doing an avera. The whole thing is a mistake. They didn't realize that it's sektish money, so you can't say divya tamud divya mishom. He doesn't know that any avera money. So Tosh that's the kasha. Tosh gives a case where he does know. That's what it seems. But nice point. So the more answers that there's another exception also, and that's going to be called shlichus yad. Mishum davi Milo shlichus yad. Shnei ksuvim abam ke'echad, and we know already from a few times already. There are two exceptions. Once there are two exceptions, so then you can't learn out any place else because the fact that the Torah said it two times, and it did not suffice one time, means the Torah did not expect you to learn from one to the other. What does shlichus yad mean? If you are a shomer and you use the object, so then you're chayiv. You have no p'tur anymore, even though you only, let's say shomer chinim is only chayiv in pshia. Once he was shaliach yad, once he used the object that he was watching, so then he is responsible. And over there, we're going to bring down a Mishnah or Brisa to say that the Shliach L'Dvar Aveira by Shlichus Yad. Shlichus Yad means stretching out your hand to use the pikadon that you are watching. So so now it comes out a little bit stronger. It's not just because Divya Talmud, Divya Mishomin, but it's because the pasuk says two times Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Aveira, two specific times Mila and by Shlichus Yad. So now we learn out that it only applies in these two places. It doesn't apply in other places. How do we know that shlichus yad is yesh liach l'dvar aveira? Mila hadamoran. Mila we know. We said already the drasha because it says. That is how we know because chet mitruma. Chet mitruma. And how do you know shlichus yad? Mahi. Where do you see that you can make a shliach? If someone makes a shliach to use the pikadon, he is responsible. The sender is responsible because he told somebody to use the pikadon. What is the case? The Tanya. Akol Dvar Pesha. It says in the pasuk Akol Dvar Pesha, and they're talking about Shaleach Yad. If somebody used the pikadon, he's going to be responsible for any kind of a negligence. What is the pasuk? It's an extra pasuk over there. That once he planned to use the pikadon, he's already chayiv. It already becomes his domain. That if anything happens to it, he's chayiv, even though he didn't actually use it. He just planned to use it. No, he's not chayiv if he just planned, only if he actually used it. If he didn't stretch out his hand to use it. So machlokes, are you chayiv for machshava alone? I bought a pasuk. It's coming to be marba something. It's coming to be marba something more. And I'm saying it's coming to be marba machshava. What do you do with that? I also have a pasuk. Only if he actually stretched out his hand. So each one says I have a pasuk. Now the Gemara is going to say, what do you do with my pasuk? It's a very long way of talking. The Gemara is usually much shorter. But what do you do? What does we still do with Bishamay's pasuk? The answer is the pasuk would only have meant that if the shomer himself used the object, then he's chayiv for shlichus yad. Now he's chayiv for anything that happens to it. How do you know that even if he told somebody else, he told the servant or he told the shliach, use it. Also, the sender, the shomer, Talmud Lomar called Dvar Pesha. So here you have it. It still says that shlichus yad is also an exception. Means that the shliach is not allowed to use the pikadon. It's not his. It belongs to somebody else. Reuven is washing Shimon's object. Then Reuven tells his shliach to use it. So he's not allowed to listen because it's not his. And you see that the Torah obligates him for shlichus yad. So you see shliach l'dvar aveira. So far to sum it up, what we have in general, we say ein shliach l'dvar aveira. That's the cloud. But there are two exceptions. One is mila, and one is shlichus yad. That over there, yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. If somebody told a shliach, take this money and buy it something with it, banana from it. So then the sender is chayiv. The sender is mila and shlichus yad. If the shomer told somebody else to use the object, it's called he was shaliach yad. There are two exceptions, and also you cannot learn out from there now because so it's not only a svara anymore. Before the Gemara started with the svara of what was the svara called? Divya Rav, Divya Talmud, Divya Mishomen. Now it becomes a little bit stronger. Now it becomes Shnei Ksuvim Bam Kechad Ein Melamdim. The Torah said two times Yesh Liach L'Dvar Aveira. So you learn out only these two places, no place else. Everything's good at this point. Ein Shliach L'Dvar Aveira, two exceptions. They want the bottom of this is as more or less as far. We went a little further than we got yesterday, and we're up to one line up. So it's very nice. According to Basila, you have two psukim. You have Mila and you have Shtichus Yad. But Beishama doesn't know that. Beishama did not agree. Beishama says this person tells you that Hakol Dvar Pesha tells you that even just planning to be Shalach Yad is already Chayiv. But there's no such thing as a Shliach. So Beishama only has one exception. Means the second exception over here about Shtichus Yad is only Beishama. Beishama doesn't know that. So according to Beishama, it's only one place where it says Yesh Liach L'Dvar Avera, which is Meila, and one pasuk you should learn out other places. So we want to know according to, and Beishama is also going to hold L'Chora. Beishama is also going to agree that Yesh Liach L'Dvar Avera. So how come? How come you don't learn out from Meila to other places that Yesh Liach L'Dvar Avera? The subject is good so far. Everybody's happy with the subject. Top of the page. Neilef Minei. That was the kasha. The answer is you're right that the Shlichus Yad is not on the list, but there's anyway two psukim. Here's a new one. Tvicha Mechira. Tvicha be the Tvicha, not the Mechira. It says Tvicha Mechira, but it really means Tvicha. Mila Utvicha Mechira Shnei Ksuv Abam Kechad. The whole Shnei Ksuv Abam Kechad Eim Lamdim. Again, back to the same yisod. They're going to be two psukim. Now we even have three psukim if you hold all three of them. We have Mila and also Shtichus Yad and Tvicha. We'll see what Tvicha means. Tvicha means slaughtering. And what's going to be the din of slaughtering? So we know if somebody steals a sheep or a cow and he sells it or slaughters it, he has to pay back 4 times, 5 times. What if somebody didn't slaughter it himself? He stole it and they gave it to a shochet to shech. So that's going to be that's also going to be the din of shlichus. And it's going to say soon that over there he is considered a shliach, and therefore yesh shliach l'dvar avera. There are two psukim that say the same thing. Therefore, you don't learn it out to other places. These two places, the Torah says, so it's another way of saying only over here, no place else. Mila Hadamoran, Mila we had already, that how do you know that Tvicha Mechira also you are chayiv even if you did it through a shliach? You didn't butcher it, you didn't slaughter it yourself. You stole it. You stole the cow and you gave it to somebody else to slaughter. The pasuk says if somebody stole and then slaughtered it or sold it. When you sell it, you always have to do with somebody else. You always have an accomplice. Whenever you sell, there has to be a buyer and a seller. So when you sell it, you have to have a buyer. It's a chiddush. That's called somebody else. This is somebody else involved. You're the one who sold it, but somebody bought it. So too, slaughtering, even if somebody else did it also. So that's a drasha to say that tvichum mechira is chayiv if you made a shliach. They have a few more drashas for tvichum mechira. Tvei Abishmal Tana. Oh, the rabbi says shliach. It says utvacho o mecharo. So maybe that word "oh" could also be the drasha to say that even a shliach. It's an extra word. A third drasha. Tvei Abishmal Tana. Tvei Chizkiah Tana. Tachas the rabbi says shliach. Over there it says chamisha b'kor yishalem tachas Abakor and Chamisha Tzon Tachas Aseh. It says over there the word Tachas. So the extra word Tachas is extra word. And Rashi says you learn out even somebody in place of him, even not Tachas Asher, Tachas Aseh, but Tachas himself. That somebody sold it in his place. He had a shliach, so he's also chayiv. So we can stop over here and again recap what we did so far. We know Ein Shliach L'Dvar Avera, and there are some exceptions. Meila is surely an exception. And over there it's Chet Metruma that there's a shliach l'dvar avera. Somebody sent money of hektish with somebody to buy, and he bought something. He did a shlicha, so the sender is chayiv. Shlichas yad is machlokes b'sham b'Bisila. B'Bisila holds you learn that from Hakol Dvar Pesha that if he told somebody to use the pikadon that you're watching, also you're considered that you did it. And the third thing is tvicha mechira, that if somebody stole and he told somebody else to slaughter it, he gave it to a shochet to shech. Also, it's considered that he shechted it and he's chayiv 4 or 5 times. So we have at least 2, maybe even 3. If you hold all 3 of them, even if you don't hold all 3, you have at least 2. So at this point, the Gemara is happy that only these exceptions do you say yesh shliach l'dvar avera, but every place else ain't shliach l'dvar avera. But the Gemara goes back to what we had a couple of times already. Some hold shnei ksuv b'vam kechad yes malamdim. If you hold that, that's the rule. Whenever you have 2 psukim say the same thing, you can't apply it to any place else. So that's good. These are exceptions and no place else. Some hold that you do say even Shnei Ksubim Bam Kechad. Some say yes malamdim. So how come you don't learn that from here to other places? To Kol Torah Kula, you should say Yesh Leich L'Dvar Be'erim. It is true that some hold that even two not, but three, everybody holds name malamdim. The Gemara could have said that also. That there are three psukim over here. You have Meila, Shlichas Yad, Tficha, but like the Gemara said, some don't hold of Shlichas Yad. So you might only have two psukim, and you might hold that Shnei Ksubim Bam Kechad malamdim. So how come you don't learn that from these psukim to other places that Yesh Leich L'Dvar Be'erim? So now the Gemara comes up with a new drasha to say Ein Shleich L'Dvar Be'erim. This is the answer starts from here. Koli Rachmana, Shchutei Chutz. The pasuk reveals by Shchutei Chutz that Ein Shleich L'Dvar Be'erim. Why is that? It says in the pasuk, Dam Yechashev Le'eshahu Dam Shafach. It talks about a person who shechted a korban out of the Beis Hamikdash. So it's considered. It says it's considered that as if he killed. I mean, he killed an animal, but it's considered like blood. He spilled blood. Dam Yechashev Le'eshahu Dam Shafach. He's chayv kares. Of course, he didn't kill a person. He killed an animal, but he killed the korban. He killed the korban out of the Beis Hamikdash. So it's considered blood to that person. Le'eshahu, that deserves some kind of crash over here. Le'eshahu.
Meaning just him, not a shliach.
Not a shliach. The pasuk says Dam Yechashev Le'eshahu, and we're going to emphasize the word hahu. That man, which man? The man who did it. But if he made a shliach to shech the korban, and he told somebody else to shech it out of the Beis Hamikdash. So, who v'lo shlucho? Here it says who v'lo shlucho. They say a better guess it would have been who v'lo sholcho, him and not the sender. Not here it says not a messenger, but it means him and not the sender. Who v'lo sholcho? That might be a better guess. That person, only the person who did it himself. But you're not going to say the sender is chayav. And it's another way of saying, so it's not, before we were talking about exceptions, we found one exception, two exceptions, maybe even three exceptions. This pasuk of Shchutei Chutz is not an exception. On the contrary, it's saying, but the pasuk here has an extra pasuk to say, until now we started off, how do we know we started with a svara? Because you're not supposed to listen to the Talmud in place of the Rav. There was a svara. And then the world also had maybe you have Shnei Ksubim or Shlosh Ksubim Bam Kechad that say Yesh Leich L'Dvar Be'erim. So you learn out other places Yesh Leich L'Dvar Be'erim. Now the Gemara says another way to darshan, because it says one place Yesh Leich L'Dvar Be'erim. It says over here by Shchutei Chutz, it says only the person himself. The person himself is chayiv, not the sender. You can't make somebody a shliach and the sender is going to be chayiv. You say that the person himself did it. But here is a pasuk. We didn't have a pasuk till now that said in Shleich L'Dvar Be'erim. We had a svara. And then you're not going to learn out to other places. But here we have a pasuk that says in Shleich L'Dvar Be'erim. But the question is, how do you apply this to other places? Ashkechan Gabi Shchutei Chutz. Pasuk over here says only by Shchutei Chutz and in Shleich L'Dvar Be'erim. How do you know other places also in Shleich L'Dvar Be'erim? So you're going to say, we learn out from here. The Aleph Shchutei Chutz. That's going to be the answer. That you learn out from here, just like over here. The Torah said one place, one time. The Torah said in Shleich L'Dvar Be'erim. So you learn out other places. But we're going now that two psukim, also you can learn out other places. Shnei Ksubim Bam Kechad Malamdim. Ad the Aleph Shchutei Chutz, Neilach Mehamach. Learn out from these. We have already two. We have Meila and that over there you say yesh shliach l'dvar be'erim, and we're going now to mandam where it says yes malam. Then you could apply it to other places also. So now it's equal. You have on one hand the Torah says sometimes yesh shliach l'dvar be'erim by meila and by tvicha mechira, and sometimes the Torah says ein shliach l'dvar be'erim by shchutei chutz. How do you know what to learn out now? And both of them are applicable. Both of them you can learn out other places. It says it one time, it says it two times. So now now it's at a standstill now. How do we know what the rest of the Torah is going to be? On one hand, you have sometimes the Torah says Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Be'erim, and sometimes the Torah says Ein Shliach L'Dvar Be'erim. So how do you know how to apply it to other places? So the Gemara says because there's another pasuk. Again, it says another pasuk. It says, oh, what did I do? V'nichras. Shahu. That's the pasuk. I meant to get this one over here. V'nichras. Shahu. and we're going to emphasize again the word ahu. It's talking about the same person over there, the person who did shkutei chutz. If he did shkutei chutz, that man is chayv kares. Who? The one who did it. So you see, so the pasuk says 2 times the same thing. It says ahu 2 times. Here we got on this to them. So the word ahu is extra. It says 2 times by the same subject. It says by shkutei chutz that only the one who did it is chayv, not the sender. Since you don't need it for itself because it says once. So the extra pasuk is coming to teach you in other places. So at this point, we ask the question: how do you know ein shliach l'dvar beira? So we could have started off because of the svara, because who do you listen to, the Rebbe or the Talmud, and then the Gemara brought shnei ksuva b'am kechet if you hold ein b'lamdim. That over there it says ein shliach l'dvar beira, but other places not. And then the Gemara said we're not happy with that because if you hold b'lamdim, so we still could learn that from there. And the Gemara says you have a pasuk over here that says ahu 2 times by shkutei chutz. To say not only by shkutei chutz. Ein shliach l'dvar beira. Also, b'kol Torah kula, ein shliach l'dvar beira. At this point, the Gemara is happy. We know ein shliach l'dvar beira from this pasuk of ahu. If anybody has any problem, please let me know. Like if it's going well, then. But now the Gemara goes the opposite way. This is going to be more or less in a parentheses that is very nice. But according to the mandama that says shnei ksuvim b'am kechad ein b'lamdim, so this pasuk ahu is going to be extra. We don't need these ahus. We had a nice Russia before. The only part of this pasuk, according to the mandama, says shnei ksuvim b'am kechad b'lamdim. Then we had a problem. But if you hold ein b'lamdim, everything was good already. So these ahus are going to be extra. Well, the mandama shnei ksuvim b'am kechad ein b'lamdim. So we're finished already. We know that ein shliach l'dvar beira from the fact that it said it 2 times already. So these psukim of ahu is extra. Hani ahu my doshbu. What is he going to do with these ahu? It says 2 times ahu. You don't need it because we know shnei ksuvim b'am kechad ein b'lamdim from the 2 psukim that say over there yesh b'lamdim. So we see every place else ein b'lamdim, and even shkutei chutz by itself. We also would know. We know that because it's like in the regular kol Torah kula that ein shliach l'dvar beira. So the more answers. Chad lemutei shnaim shoftim b'sakin b'shoftim, v'chad hu v'lo anus hu v'lo shogeg hu v'lo muteh. There's something to do with the pasuk. You have 2 psukim. You have to answer. Ahu, it says ahu 2 times. One is to tell you that only one person did shkutei chutz, that he took the korban and he himself shechted it. What if you had 2 people holding onto the knife and shechting simultaneously? No, you're not chayv shkutei chutz. Only if one person did it by himself. No, not shnaim shoftim b'sakin b'shoftim. And that's one ahu. And the other ahu is to tell you only if he did it intentionally, then he's fine. But if he was an onus, or it was a mistake, or he was tricked into it, there was a ta'ut. So all these cases, he's not chayv shkutei chutz. So we have something to do with the word ahu. So learn out these 2 drushes. One is that only one person did it, not if 2 people did it simultaneously, and one is that only if he did it by kavanah, not if he did it by onus or shogeg. Muta is lashon if he was fooled, like ta'ut, a tos, a mistake. Rashi, Does it say anything about this?
It's a mistake, but not like a shogeg mistake.
Right, different kind of a mistake. I'm not sure what the difference would have been. Who mashma sheba yosef yishaplat? He has to know what he's doing. So, and now the Gemara has a problem. Okay, so now it's very nice. You have to have these rushes also, but the other person used it up already. That's the most kasha ve'idach, the one who says shnei ksuvim b'am kechad Mulamdim, and you have to have the pasuk of ahu to tell you ein shliach l'dvar beira. How is he going to know these drushes about shnaim sha'ochzim and lo onis v'lo shogeg mehu hahu? That every time that it says ahu, it could have said hu, and it has an extra hey. So that's room for a drusha. So you can learn out both drushes. You can learn out these drushes about shnaim sha'ochzim and lo onis, and also that it says hahu each time. So you can learn out ein shliach l'dvar beira. The idach, ahu lo darish. He doesn't darish like that. We always have. Sometimes people hold that the word is something strange about it, and some say it's not strange at all. That's the way you talk. So we more or less we finished. We're going to continue. It's still going to talk about the subject, but more or less we finished that ein shliach l'dvar beira, and we had some exceptions. We had meila, shtichas shabbos machlokes, and tvicha mechira. And what's the source of ein shliach l'dvar beira? We started off with a svara. Did we have the Talmud Divrei Shomer? After that, we went into maybe shnei ksuvim b'am kechad that say yesh shliach l'dvar beira, same melamdim, and every place else is going to be that ein shliach l'dvar beira. And the third one was a pasuk of ahu that it says 2 times ahu by shkutei chutz, that only that person himself, but Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira. So we're happy we know Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira, and we know some exceptions. That was a problem. We find that maybe Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira. By other cases, the harder time we had a brisa. Somebody sent a shliach to kill. What do they call that in English?
A hitman.
He sent a hitman. So who's chayiv? Who chayiv? The sholchol pater. The hitman is chayiv. The one who killed him is chayiv, and the sender is not
No,
chayiv.
what? Oh, the hitman.
Hitman.
Yeah,
Is that the one who did it?
Yeah.
They would say the murderer is chayiv, and the sender is pater. And that's what we would say. We would think so. So the man killed. He can't say I was told following orders. But Shammai Zakin argues. Shammai Zakin Omer Mishum Chagei Hanavi. He has a chashuv reference. He says in the name of Chagei Hanavi, Sholchov Chayiv, that the sender is Chayiv. I don't know if he means this. It sounds a little bit like the and hitman is pater. I would have thought so, but the one that wants mashma a little bit that only the sender. I'm not sure. We're not going to pass like this, but he seems to say. I would like to say like you that Shammai Zakin is coming to say that the sender is also Chayiv. Let's try that. Let's try your shot later on. Maybe we'll say. But
I think I said it backwards. The hitman is the guy who does the killing.
Right. I took it like that. I took it like that. And the other one is
And
called
the other one,
the mafia.
he's the mafia.
So Shammai says that the sender is chayiv. How come you don't say Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira? So you see that Shammai holds. Shammai Yasakin. This is not Beishamai. Shammai Yasakin means the Shammai himself. Shammai Yasakin seems to hold the Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira. That now it doesn't. Now Moshe wants to say that it doesn't mean to say that the hitman is pater, but at least the sender is chayiv. And usually you say Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira. Well, you listened to me before. I told you to do L'Dvar Veira. So that's going to be a more kasha. Does Yaakov and everything know? Shenamar. This is talking about by David, that David orchestrated that Uriah should be killed. Uriah Achiti, David orchestrated he should be killed by sending him to the front. He told Yoav to send him to the front, and he got killed by the enemy. The enemy killed him. And it says, afterwards there was a time against David that you killed him through Cher B'nai Ammon. So that's considered like David's the sender, and the B'nai Ammon is the hitman. And it says, you killed him. So Shammai Zakin says, so you see that the sender is fine. And the Gemara doesn't take the pasuk to be a source. This pasuk, the Gemara doesn't take it as a source. The Gemara takes it as you see over there that it's considered that he did it, but that's not going to be a source. It's a pasuk in Shmuel, and Nasan Hanavi said that. So how does he know? It means the Gemara is taking Shammai Zakin to argue everything that we said, and he holds Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira. That's how the Gemara is taking Shammai Zakin. The fact that he says by murder Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira, he holds always Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira. And that's the most kasha in my time with the Shammai Zaken. How does he get it? We have a bunch of drushes now to say that Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira, only with some exceptions. So how does Shammai Zaken hold the Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira? The answer is Kasava Shnei Ksuvim Bam Kechad Melamdim. There were exceptions, right? Meila and Tvicha Mechira, and we said Shnei Ksuvim Bam Kechad Ein Melamdim, but he holds Shnei Ksuvim Bam Kechad Yes Melamdim, and therefore, since you see two places, the Torah says Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira. So he learns out that the whole Torah Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira. And also he has to say, Hu Hahu Lo Dorish. He also has to get not hold of the drasha of Ahu, because if he does, then he's going to have a pasuk where it says that Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira, Vashkut Echutz, and it says the second time, Vashkut Echutz, and you learn out other things also. So in order that Shammai should be able to say Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira, he has to hold two things. First of all, Shnei Ksuvim Bam Kechad Melamdim, and therefore he knows it out from Meila and Tvicha, and he doesn't dash in the hu in order that pasuk is used up already. That it says Vashkut Echutz. One is to tell you Shnai Mokzin is not chayiv. One is to tell you the Anus is not chayiv, and you're not left with any other pasuk to tell you Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira. So according to this first teretz, Shammai Zakin holds Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira, and that's why by murder Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira, the mafia man is going to be chayiv, not the hitman. That's teretz number one. The first understanding in Shammai Zakin. If you want, I could say different teretz. Lolam Dorish. He does hold Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira. He holds Hu Ahu. He also holds Ein Shliach L'Dvar Veira. So he said over here that the mafia, that the sender is chayiv. My chayiv v'din Shemayim. It doesn't mean to say the Bezin is going to kill him. It means to say that in Shemayim he's held responsible. Not a real Shliach L'Dvar Veira. If he says Shliach by Mila, it's considered mamish that the sender did it, and by Tvicha. But here we're not saying that the sender mamish did it, but in heaven they're going to hold him responsible as if he killed. But the Gemara saying, what are you talking about? The Tanakama argues, does anybody hold that the mafia man is not going to be held responsible for sending somebody to kill? The Tanakama Sabra Afilu B'din Shemaim Nami Potter. Do you mean to say Tanakama holds that even in heaven he's not going to be held responsible for sending somebody to kill? Ella Dina Rabba V'dina Zutik Benayu. They're arguing, there's machlokas. How much is he held responsible in heaven? Tanakam also holds he's responsible in heaven for sending somebody to kill. But but in heaven, they're not going to consider him as if he killed. But Shammai Zakin says it's considered as if he killed Mamish. The one who killed will still stand like Moshe, that the one who killed, he actually killed. And the one who sent him is also responsible as if he killed Mamish. Tanakam also holds he's held responsible. Why did he orchestrate it? Why did he send him? But not that he actually killed. According to Shammai Zakin, he's responsible as if he actually killed.
What's the Dina Rabbah?
A big judgment and a small judgment.
Which is
Rabba
the
means
big
big, and that means he's considered as if he killed Mamish.
The big judgment is the one who sent.
Shammai, we're talking about the one who sent.
Yeah.
We're talking about the one who sent. The one who killed, instead like Moshe, the one who killed, he actually killed. No question, he killed.
No question.
The question is that the one who sent him, how responsible is he? Tanakama says a little bit. The Shammai Zakin says a lot. A little bit means for orchestrating it, and a lot means as if you did it. He says, I didn't do it, but it's considered as if you did it. And they're going to judge him as if he did it. The machlokes b'Sham v'Yisrael is if the sender is Chai v'Dina Rabba or the sender is Chai v'Dina Zuta. Is the judgment against the sender going to be a big judgment as if he did it himself?
Oh, that's Ika Benai. I see. Yeah, yeah.
In the Rabba, V'Dina
That's-
Zuta, Ika B'nai. The machlokes between Shammai and Zakin and Tanakama is if the sender is going to be Chai on a big judgment as if he did it,
himself.
or on a smaller judgment for
He's
orchestrating it,
culpable.
but not that he actually did it.
Right. In American law, that's how they get the mafia paid.
How do they get him?
Because he never killed anybody.
He was in.
He just he's in.
He was in the
he's
Flamin.
in-
In the.
right.
So
Right.
they go-
He says something, but if the guy snitches on him that or they have
So then
tapes
what?
that he was the one who ordered it, then he's
Then he's chayiv, even though he didn't do it.
American law, yeah.
And the killer,
And the kill for sure.
both of them.
So that would be.
Both
Dina-
same sentence?
that's
As if
Dina
he
Rabbah.
killed him?
Yeah, well, they usually make deals, but they get, but the mafia
But
guy is put away for life. Yeah, for sure. Just
So that's
just
Dina
for selling-
Rabbah, right?
just
That's
for
Dina
selling.
Rabbah.
As if, what does the killer
to
get?
have tape, to have
What is the killer? What is the killer? The killer
The
himself.
also. What does he get?
What
Well,
is
he usually makes the deal. He snitches on the other guy. But they give him a life sentence. They both get a life sentence.
so that calls Dina Rabba, like Shami Azakin.
What's the definition of Dina Rabbah?
So right, I got it from Rashi. Rashi says that Dina Rabba sounds like as if he killed Mamish. Here's Rashi that I'm saying.
It'd be the same law for both of them then, because
Right.
Right.
it's as if they both killed.
They both killed. Yeah.
Dina Zute, Dina Rabba, Dina Zute Benayu. The Shammai, the Chayv Dina Rabba, Onish Godel, a big punishment.
Onish
Rashi
Gadol.
doesn't say it what. Well, Tanakam, lo manish kuli haika hore gatzmo. Eloki goring. According to Tanakam, he's not punished as if like the killer,
He is a cause of.
only as he caused it. So I got from this that Rashi holds the Onish Godel means
What does
hore
that mean,
gatzmo.
Dina Shemai? What is
Dina
cause?
Shemaim. We're all talking about Dina Shemaim. We're all talking about Dina Shemaim. If you hold this second terrorist is saying that Shammai Zakin also holds the ancient Echad Va'avera, and Bess is not going to kill the sender.
Oh,
Besdin would not. Maybe that's against. The whole thing is a life sentence, but here the Gemara is saying only talking about Dina Shemaim. Even Shammai only holds how much in heaven they're going to punish him, but in Besdin, doesn't punish the sender. Of course, Besdin has a back room. That is, anything that they don't do in the front room, they do in the back room. So if they know somebody's a mafiosa and he's sending people to kill, they'll take care of it. But not in the front court. That's going to be behind the scenes. But here it says everybody holds even Shammai Azaken, according to the second teretz. First teretz, he holds and the sender is considered that his mamash, you kill him, like he killed. And the second teretz says he also holds but the subject is only in Shemayim. How responsible is he? Is it Kihora Gatsmo or is it less? And the third teretz, Iboy Zema. So I have a third possibility in Shammai Azaken. Iboy Zema, Shani Yosem, the Goli Rahmana, Osarak, the Becher B'nei Yamo. It is an exception. Imamish, Yeshlech L'Dvar but not always. The first teretz is held that he holds always Yeshlech L'Dvar and he didn't dash Yeshlech Subam Kechad, Malamdim, and there was a general rule. The third teretz holds, in general, he holds Yeshlech L'Dvar but this is an exception. Murder is an exception that over there, Yeshlech L'Dvar because the pasuk says so. Oh, Sabak the Becher B'nei Yamo. This pasuk we brought by David. Till now we didn't take it seriously. Till now we took it just as. You see that that the Navi is chastising him. But according to this third teretz, that's a source to say that the pasuk over here holds him responsible even in Dinei Adam, even in Bezdin, he's considered the murderer. Moshe still wants to say that
Oto
also
here
the
is
murderer.
David.
Right.
The
No,
David-
also means Uriah. Harakta, you David. Also Harakta, you David killed him.
Oto Harakta, you killed him by the killing of
By the sword of Ammon.
By the
By the
sword
sword
of
of Ammon. So the first Teretz says, so Tvip Shatim and Shammai Yazakin. The first Shammai Yazakin just said that the sender is higher because you see also Rakta b'nei b'nei Ammon. The first Teretz says that he holds Kol Torah Kula, Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira, all over Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira, because you learn it out from the two places that it says by Mil and the Fich, he learned it all over. Second Teretz says, no, he also has Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Veira, just like anybody else. He just says that the Onish in Bezdin in Shemaim is going to be as if he did it, but not in the earthly court. And the third Teretz says he holds in general and right? Yeah. And the third Teretz says he holds in general and but by murder, the special pasuk that says that the and he's killed in Bezdin. He's chayiv like in Bezdin. The idach, not what does anybody else do with this pasuk? What do you do with this pasuk? Isn't the pasuk mashma that he's a chayiv? Is the pasuk over here? What do we do with this pasuk? Shammai says that this pasuk tells you that he's chayiv as if he killed in Bezdin. The idach says a whole different drasha in this pasuk. It's a whole different drasha on a drash level. That your killing of Uriah is the same responsibility as the sword of Bnei Ammon. The sword of Bnei Ammon, everything else that Bnei Ammon did, whatever else they did, all kinds of things the sword of Ammon did, you're not responsible because you didn't send them. So also the sword of Uriah, the sword that they killed, Uriah, also not punishable. It means even with the Shemayim. That David was not responsible for, he's not liable for orchestrating the death of Uriah Hitti, even with the Shemayim. Like any kind of macho man, he's not responsible. There's not guilt against David for killing Uriah. My timer, how come? Why is David not responsible? More than Malchus because he was considered rebellious against the kingship, against the kingdom. That he's Chayiv Misa. That Uriah Hitti was really Chayiv Misa. So David did it in a nice way. Instead of killing him in Sanhedrin for being a Moab Malchus,
he was allowed to kill him.
He was allowed to kill him because he was officially Chayiv Misa. He was Chayiv capital punishment because he was a Moab Malchus. Why is he a Moab Malchus? Because when David told him, David wanted to get him to be with his wife, to have relations with his wife, and he said no. He said, my master Yoav was a general, and he came to David, and David told him to go home, and he said, how can I go home? My master Yoav and all of the servants of my master are in the battlefield, and I'm going to go home and eat and drink. So that's considered a Moab Malchus. Why is it a Moab Malchus? What's Moab Malchus about it? What did he do against David? Any suggestions?
What's the story again? What was he telling?
He wanted Yoav to go home and be with his wife. That was what his intention was. He wanted to be able to cover up that she's pregnant from him. So he wanted her to have his husband came home, he called him back from the front. They should go home and eat and drink and take a vacation. So he said, I can't. My master Yoav was my general, and all of the masters, the sons of my master are on the battlefield, and I'm going to go home and eat and drink. So he said no. So that's considered Moab Malchus. Why is it Moab Malchus? Rashi says because he said the word Adoni. He called him a master. You don't call somebody else the master in front of the king. That's what Rashi says. Taisa says
call someone my master
in front of the king. You don't call somebody else your master. That's
my master.
Yoav. He called his general. He called his general his master. So that's Rashi's. Taisa doesn't like that. Taisa says it's not called a chuspa to the king to call a general my master, my commanding officer. And Taisa says because he didn't listen to him. The fact that the David told him to do something and he didn't listen, that's considered the Moab Malchus, even though he had a noble idea. So
the Kiddush is that even though it's not related to the Malchus,
right.
the Melech if offer you a cup of tea and you don't accept it, it's not against the Malchus.
Right. So Taisa says something at the end, another shot, that maybe the way that he said it. What did he say? Yes, the way that he spoke, that he said Adoni Yoav, maybe that's similar. That depends how he says it. So we had a shita that we're not sure But Shammai Azaken, according to one shot, Shammai Azaken held yesh liach l'dvar beira. Amar Rabba, 2 lines before it spreads. Imtim salom esava Shammai shnei ksuvim b'am kechem l'lamdim v'hu ahu lo dorish. We had three possibilities in Shammai Azaken. The first one was that he can't call yesh liach l'dvar beira. Always yesh liach l'dvar beira. The second one said he doesn't, and the third teretz said only by murder. But the first teretz said that in general he always holds yesh liach l'dvar beira. Rabbi says, even if you're going to say that, imtim saloma, even if you're going to say that Shammai holds in general yesh liach l'dvar beira, modeh the omer. First middle line. Modeh the omer l'shluchot say ba'olas erva more cholas achela shuchayi v'sholcho pata. If he told somebody to be bol erva, be mashliach and be bol erva, or he told somebody be mashliach, I need to strafe. So then there's no such thing. Even according to Shammai Hazakin, that he holds the Yeshliach with Barbera, for these kind of Barbera not. And he's going to be the one who did it as Chayiv and the sender is Pater. Shalom Masina, B'chola Torah Kula, and then it was Chayiv. Because it can't be such a thing. You never find such a thing that one person had the benefit, had the enjoyment, another person is going to be Chayiv. So these two cases of Erva and eating treif, that can't be that it's going to be a shliach for it. Even theoretically, if Shammai does hold not for these kind of averas. Not averas that have a by killing, yes, maybe by killing, or do you have other cases of yeshlech avera? Yeah, the ones that everybody holds of meila, maybe shlichus yad, maybe tvicha, but any avera Shammai might hold also yeshlech avera. But I know that for avera that has a noah over there, you're not going to say yeshlech avera because it can't be one person is having that noah and the other person is going to be fine. A little bit from this Gemara, it sounds a little bit like the point is going to be the one Moshe was saying. This is why I stopped. That Moshe was saying that even if you hold the Yeshlech Barbera, the doer is also going to be high. Maybe even the sender, but the doer also. This one is mashed a little bit that according to the side of Yeshlech Barbera, then only the sender is going to be high and the doer is going to be potter. Because it can't be that he's Nana and he's high. Because he was Nana, he has to be high. It sounds a little bit like the Gemara was taking Shammai to say that the killer is going to be Pater, and the sender is going to be Chayiv. I'm not sure about this diak, I'm not sure. But you don't pass like Shammai Hazaken, no matter what the pshat is. You have three possibilities. Whatever the possibilities, we don't hold like him. We hold, like we started off, three exceptions. So remember the halacha after, at least remember the halacha after everything, that we hold Shliach L'Ba'avera, and there are three exceptions. One is going to be Me'ila, and one is Shlichus Yad, Epikoda, and one is that all three of them, even if it was not through a shliach, it's considered that the sender did it.
To make Mila, he should have made the shliach should have made sure it was kosher. What should he have done?
So that's a question that Dr. Fine asked before. That holding the meal is only b'shogeg. So that's a kasha on the whole sugya. That if you say the whole thing is b'shogeg, if it means there's no mila, the korban meal is only b'mezid, b'shogeg, not b'mezid. So there's no question about if it goes with the svara. If it doesn't go with the svara, like the end of the Gemara sounds maybe it's not a svara, it's because of the psukim. So then maybe it's not such a kasha. It's true that it's b'shogeg, and yeshliach l'ba'avera. So even though no taina, how come you listen to him? Nothing to do with the Divrei Mishonim. How come you listening to him? But there's a din if yeshliach l'ba'avera. So you did it. This is if he did it, and he's the one who's going to be more. So,
And if we say hana, the shliach got the hana.
So it can't be that, right? So it can't be that
the sender is the one that
right.
gets done. And that's called the Indvar, how do you say it? In Shliach Devar Avera, which would mean he's off the if there was
Devar means the sender. The sender is not the one who did it. The one who did it did it.
I heard once from a David Feinstein. It might help out over here. He explained why someone's chayv for shirkei, or didn't do anything wrong.
You see that he's not honest. It's a shogeg.
So you want to say, but if it would be enough important, if something that's very important, the person doesn't make
A
mistakes.
shogeg means a negligence. It doesn't mean that it was honest. It means that it was negligent. He didn't do it on purpose. It's the hard question why a shogeg is fine, because it's his fault. He said I didn't do it on purpose. It's very nice. It's very good he didn't do it on purpose, but it's your fault. No, that's.
We're not being careful.
But does that help over here?
So
If
if it would be enough important to him, It's the same. Really, it's the same story. You're just saying your fault, and it's really the same type of
So how does it help over here? As
I'm
far
trying
as
to
the
think without helping
Mishoni?
He would have checked it out. Like why?
Did
If,
we
it, if it's
have-
enough important than Chaylev, he would have,
Hmm.
even though he had someone telling him, if it would be poison, he would not listen to his master. He would have checked it out if it's Chaylev, if it's poison.
Okay, it's interesting because in a regular case, someone gives you money and says, "Can you buy something?" So you're going to start asking questions. Is it hektish not? And then he says, "Not hektish." How you know it's not hektish? Maybe hey, let's go back to the drawer and see where you took it from. Is it probably a gvul? How much a person? I don't know. Okay.
How we can call him sugar?
Who?
Achan.
Not
Yeah,
following.
good me either.
No, we're not there. Let's talk about the carbon meal. Carbon meal is only when it's B'shoni. Amazing, it's surely worse than Shoni. But here we're talking about the carbon meal is only B'shoni. Now, this is Tyson I never based before. That Dr. Fine brought up the question. Yes.
Achan took spoils, isn't it?
What?
Didn't Achan take spoils? Isn't that what it-
Hektish. So that's what I'm saying, that it was hektish. He took the hektish. It's too small to see, but Taisha says, "Tema halkocha mar b'shogeg even mezid like a mila, then mila b'mezid and came they shtei v'avera to the shayach remember the b'shomer since he's a shogeg, it means a raya that you don't say by a shogeg you don't say the. Okay, so Taisha finds a case that it was that he knew something about it also. Okay, in general. So that's the end of the sugya about the Eishlech v'avera. We hold the Eishlech v'avera, and there are three exceptions: meila, then
And what?
Tichum v'chiru.
And what?
Those are the three cases where we say yesh techus ba'aver. Okay, new subject. Get a little big over here. We could.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, third middle
Wide.
line.
In the middle.
Wide, but not wide.
Not
Itma
wide.
Rav Amashlich Naseid. The Ve'er B'Shila Amri Ein Shlich Naseid. Could a shliach then testify about his shlichus? Rashi gives an example that he was a shliach to be a mekadosh a woman, and he gave the Kiddushin to the woman, and then he testifies that she was married because he's the one who did it even. So we would say, why not? So the Gemara talks about it. Can a shliach become a witness on the
Yeah, become a witness.
on the issue that he did? He did this shlichus, he did this mission, and then he wants to testify that it happened.
Or
Why is he going to give it that way?
No.
Because
He didn't marry her. He
still
It means he has a personal interest. The interest. The person he said, I married her. So that's not going to be now saying that you know no personal interest. Subject, could he
Would that-
testify?
would
Now we're
Okay.
talking about regular shlichus. He was shlich, Kiddushin, Gerushin, and then he wants to say testimony
Okay.
that she's married, she's divorced because I did it. If my Rav Amashlich not say, he could say testimony. Rabbi Shila Amri, Shlich not say the yeshiva of Rabbi Shila, they said not. And then why doesn't understand? Why not? My time at the Rabbi Shila, why not? Is it because he wasn't appointed to be an aide? He only was appointed to be a shliach, and you have to be appointed. The one says you don't have to be appointed. Elamayata kideshisha b'fnei shnayim v'lom alehem atem meida yachinami delo hevi kiddushay. Is there such thing you have to tell the aiden you're my aiden? How about not a shliach? The shliach, that's true. He wasn't appointed to be an aide, but aiden also not appointed to be an aide. If somebody's mekadosh a woman in front of two aiden and he didn't tell them you are my aiden, is there any problem? So you don't have to say atem meida. So what's the problem that the shliach wasn't appointed to be an aide? Alamaisa, he knows. So the Gemara backs down. That's not the pshat. Nobody holds that he won't be able to testify. I'm sorry, the Gemara is going to say a problem. I don't know. Let's try to get it onto the screen. Sorry for the pretty small. That first wide line. El Rabba Mishliach
I'm sorry, what
Nasei.
was the Haman?
Which word? Hachinami.
Hachanami what?
Is that so? The Lahavi Kiddushin? If somebody married a woman in front of two people and did not tell them you are my Adam, he didn't officially say you are my Adam. Yeah, are you going to say over there also that it's not Kiddushin? There's no such halacha that you have to say Atam made that. So the Shliach also, even though it wasn't appointed to be an aid, he could be an aid. Why not? Just because you didn't say Atam made that, that's not a problem. The minhag is yes that Masada Kiddushin tells the chassan to say Atameda, but here it says you don't need it.
Uh,
He also says Atameda and nobody else. I'm only you and nobody else. I'll come back in a second. So the Gemara says two things. Why Rav holds that it's good, and the Rebbe holds that it's no good. I don't get the pshat in the Gemara in Rav. It says that he's strengthening the issue. They're strengthening when he's saying the edus, it's even stronger by being a shliach. It's even stronger. Rashi says, if it's even a better testimony, you don't really need that. There's no problem. But the more even says that it's even better. If the shliach himself is the aid, so it's even better than saying I saw it. I say I did it, so it's even better. But the Rebbe Shila says it's a problem. Because since the shliach is considered like the person himself, so it's as if it's himself. Just like a person himself cannot testify. That's really what you're saying before, that he did it. But here there's no personal interest. But we look at it as if he's mamish a carbon copy of the sender, and just like the sender cannot testify about himself, so the shliach also cannot testify. I don't understand it, but that's what the Gemara is saying as far that since it's kamosa, so it's kamosa mamish, and therefore he can't testify about it. And the Gemara is going to try to bring proofs about the subject. Can the shliach say testimony to what I did? Meisvei.
Obviously, we're saying with this shliach nasa aid on the Omer that he's mitzaref with another aid.
Yeah, that's true. But as I'm saying, don't forget you have to have two aid. There's only one aid. See, there's another aid. Or Rashi says maybe two shluchim. He made two shluchim to Mekadish, then you have two aid. You have to have for sure two aid. Meisvei, second white line. Meisvei, Amal Shloshatsu, Vikad Shuliha Isha. A person told 3 people, go and marry for me this woman. So he made 3 people shluchim. Echad shliach, Ushnai made them. Shammai says he didn't mean to make all of them shluchim. He meant to make one of them should be a shliach, one of them should be the one who does the ma'aseh Kiddushin, and the other 2 should be the edim. Beisel Lomrim, kulam shluchim. He made all of them to be shluchim, and therefore ein shliach nasei. So they're no edim. So this Bryce says beferish ein shliach nasei. The Bryce says beferish like the Bei Rabbi Shila that shluch shlodim kamoso. The Beishamida said that not all 3 of them have to be shluchim. One could be a shliach, and the other 2 could be edim without being shluchim. That's why it's good. Beisel says it meant to be all of them should be shluchim, so none of them could be edim because shluch shlodim kamoso. So Ad Kanla, and the more wants to say even Shammai over here agrees that it's not good. Ad Kanla pligi ela b'shlosha. Everyone only arguing by 3 that you could have 1 should be the shliach and 2 should be the aid. Abu b'shnayim deviakol lo. Everybody holds. This Bryce says according to everybody, even according to Shammai, is not good because if you have only 2, so then you don't have 2 edim. So the Gemara says a fresh Bryce against Rav. The Bryce says ein shliach nasei. So the Gemara says you're right. This Bryce is against Rav, but who the Amar Kiyaitani? This is his starts the answer now. That there's going to be a different Bryce. This Bryce can't answer. This Bryce is against me. Rav says, but who the Amar Kiyaitana? Rav will hold like the following Bryce. The Tanya of Nasan Omer, Beishamai Yomrim, Shliach ve'ed echad. Rav Nasan says that according to Beishamai, a Shliach ve'ed echad is good enough. Why? Because the shliach is also going to be an aid. So it means Beishamai holds. Beishamai says that the shliach could be an aid. Get one aid together with the shliach, or together you have 2. You have to have 2 aidim besides the shliach, because the shliach cannot be an aid. So we found the brisa that says shliach nas aid. Who? Beishamai. So that's a problem. That it's true. You found the first brisa said according to everybody ain't shliach nas aid. Second brisa says that according to Beishamai shliach nas aid. That doesn't help us too much. Rav ke Beishamai. I was going to become like Beishamai, that's a problem. Rav ke Beishamai. So Epoch. So change around the Bryce. It must be that Rav had the opposite Girsa, that Beishamai is the one who says Ein Shliach Nasei. You have to have 2 Eidim besides the Shliach, and Beisol is the one who says that 1 Eid and 1 Shliach is good enough because so he found the Bryce. So it's true, one Bryce is against him, the other Bryce, after you switch it around, you do surgery on the Bryce, so he found somebody. He found Beisol holds that Shliach Nasei. All this was one version of the whole Gemara. As we started off in the beginning, we started in the second middle line. Rav says Shliach Nasei, Reb Shila says Ein Shliach Nasei, and here 3 lines up from the bottom. There's a different version in the Machlokes Rav and Reb Shila. Rav Ein Shliach Nasei, Reb Shila Shliach Nasei. The opposite of who holds what. That goes back to the beginning of the Gemara. The Gemara usually would have put this in the beginning. Does Rav say? Does Reb Shila say? But somebody holds yes, somebody holds not. We found the Bryce that holds Bisham, says Perish, everybody holds not. That Bisham still both hold that Ein Shliach Nasei. And we found the Bryce at the end that says according to Beishamai Shliach Nasei, and we switched it around to say Beisel holds Shliach Nasei. The Ilchasa, here goes the big time. The Ilchasa, Shliach Naseh. Yep. Okay, I didn't mean that.
It's fine, delete it.
It doesn't help anything.
That's very
I once
pretty.
saw somebody, a big Talmid Chacham, he had a tour and he underlined. The whole thing was underlined. He underlined the important things. The whole thing was underlined. So it doesn't help if you have everything underlined. The Ilchasa Shliach Naseh. So we don't say this Torah, the Shliach Shalom Kamosa, and he can testify that I was a Shliach to Mekadesha, to Mekarisha, and it's a good testimony.
Doesn't have any ramifications for this other.
Avera? What's it doing Avera? Where's Avera over here? Everyone's doing mitzvahs. He's Kiddushin. He's not doing an Avera over here. Where do you see the connection?
That the shliach didn't do it himself. He can be an aide, so he's just a messenger for the one who did it.
What does that have to do with Avera?
Okay, nothing.
Okay. Bottom line, Rav Amr Nachman, Amr Shnaim, Tzuu v'kat shliach seisha. Ein hein shlucha v'ein hein neder. Mamish, what we just finished. Somebody told two people, marry a woman from me, be shluchim, so that is shluchim and they're also the eidim. You have two shluchim, so both of them are the eidim, everything's good. Which is another way of saying shliach naseh. Rashi points it out. The shliach naseh. That's how we just finished saying. So we also have we just finished saying. That's the halacha shliach naseh. So hein shluchim hein neder. It's first talk about Kiddushin, culturally. The begerishin, the same thing can be begerishin. They can be the shluchim and then also be the eidim. And amad beis v'chein v'dinim mominis. Rashi gives an example. That Lover wanted to pay back the malva, so he sent two shluchim to send the money. The shluchim to pay back the money, and now he wants them to testify that they got that they paid it. The malva got paid up. So shliach naseh. So they say the shluchim to pay back, and we testify they got
Oh,
paid.
they wouldn't need to get a shover.
If they have a show over that, everything's fine. If they have it, that's good. But they want to do this now. Testimony.
Then it's really a few months ago.
They want.
Because
Well, did the act if they could testify about the act.
Shluchim,
The shluchim, they were the shluchim to be mekadesh, to be megarish, or to give the money to the malva, and they come back and say, we testified that she was married, we testified she was divorced, we testified he got,
that's the rule floor, right, all the way down.
we testified that he got paid back. And now the Gemara says, he said three things. He said Kiddushin, Gerushin, and money alone. How come you have to say three times?
The what?
That's shliach naseh.
Okay.
Top line, you have to say all three cases. The case of Kiddushin, they're coming to ask her. They say she's a married woman, so nobody else could marry her. So they have no personal interest. They have no ulterior motive. Because if anything, they're saying that I cannot marry her because she's married to him.
She's married.
So they have no personal interest. They come and they say that she's divorced. We were shluchim, we divorced her from her husband. And then they wanted to testify also, and then he might marry her at the end.
Enough here's their eyes.
They put the eyes on it, she wants to marry her. So they come and they say testimony that we divorced her, we were shluchim to divorce her, but that makes it worse because maybe they want to marry her. That's why they're testifying that she's so even there also even if you would have said the case of Gerushin that we're not choshish for ulterior motives, that's because she came married to both of them. So it means if you have two people coming and saying that we divorced, we were shluchim to divorce her, so we're not choshish both of them. Maybe one of them was an ulterior motive, but not both of them because both of them cannot marry her. So one of them is saying the truth. So there's more reason to trust them. But by money, it could be that they're going to split the money, that they're going to come and say that they got money. Let's say they got money from the Lover to pay the Malva. And then they say, we testify we gave it to him. It could be they didn't give it to him. It could be they pocketed the money, and then they're going to split it. Both of them have ulterior motives. They might want to split the money. So maybe over there that they have ulterior motive, personal motivation maybe. So maybe personal gain. So over there, you won't trust them. That's why it's necessary to say all three cases that shliach naseh by Kiddushin, even by Gerushin, and even by money.
If you want to have money.
There was the other way. You're right. I don't know the answer. If Yaakov is asking, usually Gemara will flip it around. So just say the biggest chiddush, and then you don't have to have the other small chiddushim. The Gemara doesn't go that way. If they only had the last case, it would have been enough. The biggest chiddush is by money. So Kol Shkein Kiddushin, Kol Shkein Kiddushin. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
There was a problem over here, Micah Sava. What is this of Nachman? If Nachman said all this, Kiddushin, Gerushin, money. But what about the money now? This was the money. The third case. They come and say that we testify that the money that the Lova gave us, we gave to the Malva. And he's paid
What
up.
does it mean, cassava?
Micah Sava, what does he hold? Sober, Sava. So,
No, but don't we know? He means, I think so. That it's okay for them to testify that the money.
no, but there's a question coming up. What does he hold about the following issue? You're right. He says, Shliach Nasei, but the question is, if somebody gave money, he lent money in front of Adam, does he have to pay back with Adam? Or he could say, I paid back. Is he believed to say, I paid back without Adam? So here the Gemara is comparing it to the Shluchim. The Shluchim got money. The Lova gave the Shluchim money to pay the Malva. Would they be believed to say that we gave it back to you? Are they in trouble? The fact that the Lova is saying, I gave you money, where's the money? And if they'd be in trouble for not being able to say where the money is, so then we don't, and we can't trust them so much because they have to say they gave it to the Malva, or else they're going to have to pay back to the Lova. So that's what the Gemara wants to know now. If you hold the Malva Be'edim, Sochel for Be'edim, Hani Nogam Be'edis, then these Edim, you can't trust. They really are Nogam Be'edis, because if they say the army Loparan, if they say we didn't give it to the Malva, so he says, so where's the money? Amalahu Paruni, so pay me. The Lova is the one who gave the money to the Shluchim to give to the Malva. And they come and say we gave it to the Malva. Of course they're going to give Be'edis, because where's the money? If you didn't give it to the Malva, so then give it to me. So, and if they're not going to give it, this is going to be behind them. The Gemara is assuming that they got the money in front of Eidim. If they didn't get the money in front of Eidim, if the Lova gave the Shluchim money not in front of Eidim, they have no problem. They can't demand them anything. But if the case would have been that he gave money to the Shluchim in front of Eidim, so then they're stuck. Of course, they have to say that they gave it to the Malva, or else they're going to have to pay back the Lova. So then they gave Eidim. So they shouldn't be believed. Is that good? What are you going to say the other side? Ella, so the Gemara says the other side. Ella, lolam kasava, malvas chaver beidim, ein sal lefar beidim. That even though they got the money with Eidim, they're testifying that they got the money, but they be believed to say we paid you back. They don't have to bring Eidim to pay him back. Umigu the yachli lemema hadrinu the loba yicholu lemema parani lemalva. Since they could have said we gave it back to the Lova, and they wouldn't have, and even if the Lova says they didn't give it back to me, they'd be believed to, even though there are Adim that the Lova gave them money, but they'd be believed to say we gave it back to you without Adim. They wouldn't be liable to pay, they wouldn't be held responsible to pay. So they could say, so they're not gave it over, and therefore they could say we paid the Malva. End of that. Again, the Gemara spoke about these 5 lines.
They could have made a bigger lie.
They could have lied just as well. No difference to that. If he would have said that, you think we pocketed the money? So we could have said that if we pocketed the money, we could have said we paid back. You gave us money. You, Lova, gave us money to give to the Malva. And there are Aiden that you gave it to us. But we believe to say that we paid you back. We came back and we said, it's snowing outside, we're not going to go. Here's the money. And then he says, no, it's not true. But they'd be believed. If you hold Malva Chaber Beidim, Ein Soch L'For Beidim, they would be believed. If somebody gave you an oral loan, he didn't know no star, just gave you a loan in front of Beidim, do you have to pay him back in front of Beidim? Some say yes, some say no. If you hold you have to have Beidim, so then they're going to be responsible to pay back if they don't approve it. But if you hold that they don't have to pay back, they would leave to say that we paid you back. So now they're not going to give it over because they could have said we paid you back. But we're not saying we paid you back. We say we did our job and we gave it to him. So they're not going to give it over. But now the Gemara throws in the next 3 lines. Nowadays, there's a later time in the Gemara that the Chachamim made a Shvur Sesses. I don't know what the word Shvur Sesses means. If anybody could help me, but it means that even though usually a Kofar Bakol, somebody that denies doesn't have to swear. Only a Mudab Miktas has to swear. The Torah says. But Rabbanan made a later time in Chazal. They made that even a Kofar Bakol also has to swear.
So
if somebody Shvur Sesses that if somebody demands you owe me money and he says no I don't, you have to swear. The one who's being demanded. What do we call him? He has to swear that I don't owe you. So we're back to Negeb B'Davar. that it's true that they wouldn't have to pay, but they'd have to swear. If the lover comes and says, I gave you money, where's the money? And they say, we paid you back. So they wouldn't be believed. They would have to swear in order to, right. They'd have to swear in order to get themselves off the hook. So are they considered, so now they are negate, now what? Now they are negate babies.
So why did the rabbis do that?
No, they made it a kind that a person who's demanded that he owes money, he has to swear in order to clear himself. So what's going to happen now? In this case now, that the lover gave lover gave money to the Eidim, to the Shluchim, to give it to the Malba. And the Shluchim now, they said he gave it to the Malba. But the Malba says, I never got it. How are you going to judge this case? The lover is saying, I gave you money. And they say we gave it to him. And he says, I didn't get it. So Mishtabi Hani Eidim the Hivnale. The Eidim, they claim that they gave it to the Malba. So they have to swear. In order, because the lover is saying, where's my money? So they have to say what happened to the money. They can't just say, they have to swear. So they're not swearing gave it back to you. I didn't give it back to you, we gave it to him. So you have to swear that you gave it to him. But the Malba says, I didn't get it. And the Malba doesn't have to, the Malba says to the lover, I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
And the Malba swears, I didn't get it.
He also has to swear.
If he wants to get the money. The lover is going to have to pay. The lover is going to have to pay. The lover says he gave the money to the shluchim. The shluchim say, yes, he gave it to us, but we paid him. And the Malva says, I didn't get it. So the lover, the shluchim swear that they gave it, and the Malva swears that I didn't get it, even though these two oaths are contradicting each other. One of them is surely swearing falsely.
And the lover is going to be in trouble.
And then the lover is going to have to pay. And he's screaming at somebody's lying here, so we didn't know he's lying. But the Malva says, you have to pay me until you prove that you didn't. I know I didn't get paid. It sounds like a very strange thing that Chazal made a takana that both of them should swear. We know one of them is lying.
But maybe the one's going to end up backing out.
But the lover
The lover is gonna. He says, "I'm paying twice. I paid them, and I don't know who he trusts. Either he's looking at the Adam you stole it, or he's looking at the Malba you stole it. But one of them stole it, and he's gonna have to pay a second time." Okay. I should go on.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Todarba.
Oh, was this kid? Yeah.
43B.
I don't know how long ago this
2
was.
dots. 43B.
Ronnie.
What that?
Ronnie.
That's his problem, because I heard.
Okay. So he's not on. He's not on. Okay. Was there, Dr. Fine, were you able to hear it the whole time?
Oh, should I tell Ronnie?
Okay. I don't know.
I was able to hear.
You were. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.